Why are state governments in India, some of them at least, key among them Kerala, asking the Supreme Court's permission to kill, that's right, kill what they're calling violent dogs? I'm Barkha Dutt, you're with the Mojo Story, and our focus today is on something that is of great emotional resonance, I think, for so many of us. Horrifying videos have emerged, horrifying, really horrifying, that make your stomach churn at some of the ways in which cruelty is being inflicted on stray dogs. Now, remember, there are millions of stray dogs in this country, and before 2001, municipalities across India were legally authorized to euthanize them if needed. Now, Kerala is among the governments before the Supreme Court asking for permission to euthanize what they're calling violent dogs. Rights activists, however, are protesting. They've taken to the streets and they've also intervened in the Supreme Court, saying that this, in some cases, mass extermination of stray dogs is cruelty of the worst kind. And in fact, having seen some of the videos, actually, there is horrifying brutality. There are videos in which dogs, their paws have been tied up, they've been muzzled. There are others where they've been shepherded into the backs of vans where you can watch and see them crying. But on the other side, Kerala's government says that there has been an increase in the number of dog bites, pointing even to little children who have lost their lives as a result of these bites. Where is that balance? It goes back to that old classic debate, that balance, that ecological balance, that balance between man and animal that has been disturbed, some would say, by the actions of us human beings ourselves. This is the conversation on the program today. It's one that we find polarizes people in the extreme, but we hope to be able to get some consensus on this program before a critical hearing in the Supreme Court in a few days from now, in fact, in the coming week. Let me introduce our guests on the program today. We're joined from Kerala by Member of Parliament of the CPM, Dr. V. Sivadasan. Remember, as I said, Kerala is before the Supreme Court, pointing to what it's calling an increase in dog bites by stray dogs, and wants permission to euthanize violent, in quotes, dogs. We're also joined by a lawyer who's been working with some of these state governments, Mr. Mukund Unny. He'll be giving us his perspective. Thank you so much, both of you. Also joining us is one of India's foremost legal minds, Percival Billimoria. He's a senior advocate. He's also a dog lover. I do know he has, I think, 11 of them. He's in court making the argument that this is nothing but state-sponsored cruelty on animals that can't speak for themselves. And also joining us is Ambika Shukla, who's, of course, one of our foremost animal rights activists. Thank you very much, all of you. We do have some of the horrifying videos that have emerged that are going to be part of the petition of rights groups in Supreme Court, but I just want to get initial comments. I'll start with you, Mr. Billimoria, if I can. We know you to be a dog lover, and I suppose the Kerala government would also claim that it doesn't want to harm non-violent dogs, so to speak. They're asking for permission to euthanize what they're calling dangerous dogs. I want you to frame the contours of this debate for us, Mr. Billimoria. Why has this disturbed you to the extent that you will be arguing in the Supreme Court this coming week, sir?
First of all, who decides what is ferocious? Who decides what is dangerous? No dog is inherently dangerous. No dog is inherently aggressive. Some of the so-called aggressive breeds which are trained to be guard dogs have to be trained to be dangerous. I think there is a certain element of fear psychosis that has been created in the media. There have been several stories. For example, 3 media houses ran stories to say what to do in case of dog bites within a space of 2 days. So the inherent presumption is that dogs bite. Every media story that you saw until some time back was there was always a prefix or a suffix saying dog menace or dog nuisance. So there is this huge hysteria that is being whipped up, and that is completely contrary to all scientific studies. The solution really lies in the animal birth control program. We have an animal birth control program which is in place. These are the 2001 rules under the Prevention of Cruelty Act. In fact, the next set of rules, the 2022 rules, are also very much in place now. We are just awaiting comments from the public. So if there is any move that is taken within the contours of the rule, then surely no animal rights activist will have a problem. The problem is every municipality wants to go and take its own actions.
Yeah.
That cannot be the case. It cannot be allowed.
Yeah, and I just want to, for our audience who may not know, before 2001, when we did not have what are now known as the ABC guidelines, municipalities were actually free to step in and kill dogs as they thought was fit. Maneka Gandhi, as minister, did bring in these guidelines. Dr. Sivadasan, if I may bring you in now. You are a member of the left party. Your government is in power in Kerala. We do know and we sympathize with the incidents of children who have been bitten by dogs. But as Mr. Billimoria says, no dog is actually inherently dangerous. Animals often react with violence when their territory, their habitat has been encroached upon, either by rapid urbanization or when they're scared, sometimes from fear, sometimes if somebody throws stones at them. We have seen all of those horrifying images, Dr. Sivadasan. Why does Kerala want to kill stray dogs? Remember again to the asymmetry of power between human beings and these animals that cannot express themselves, that cannot speak for themselves, Dr. Sivadasan.
See, our respected senior advocate, he has mentioned some points here. What I am telling, 200% of animal bite cases were increased in Kerala the last 6 years. The number of cases is increasing. 20 persons were killed because of this the dogs attack. So persons are dying. They are in the streets. The children are crying. They are unable to reach their schools. They are unable to reach their hospitals. So they are facing lots of adults. Why? If the dogs are inherently not very allowing the peaceful nature, then no, we don't have the problem. But here the problems are there. The 20 persons were killed in a state the last 1 year or 2 years. Then how can we face the issue? So now the ABC centers was increased. Then the common initiative, the people initiative, including our local self-government initiatives, they are increased. So these kind of initiatives are taken. Also, they are requesting the court. So which one is dangerous? The dangerous dogs. Some dogs are dangerous in nature. So
you're saying dogs are dangerous in nature. Do you have a dog, sir?
I'm telling not a group of dogs. A group of dogs
Okay.
in the street dogs. They're very dangerous in the city. We are seeing that kind of dogs. So what we are thinking, if dangerous dogs are there, then the action is very necessary. Including the dogs have the right to live in the world. That we don't have any doubt in that case. But the thing is that the human beings also have the right to live here. The protection of the human being is very important. I think the right of the human beings is important than
of course we want
dogs.
humans to be safe. Of course we want us people to be safe, but we want to find a way that this can happen, Ambika, without dogs taken off the streets. In the neighborhood in which I live in Delhi, residents actually feed the dogs. They're perfectly amiable. In fact, they protect the neighborhood. They're almost like security guards for our surroundings. They respond with love to those they recognize and those that treat them with love. And yes, with some hostility when they think that trespassers, for example, there's movement when there shouldn't be. They're extremely smart animals. But Ambika, to the Kerala government's point about the 21 lives lost, they say, from dog bites, and that how can any government ignore the lives of humans, even if they don't want to see dogs dying? What would you say, Ambika Shukla?
Firstly, I would question the statistics. There has been no actual proper investigations into any of these deaths. The report submitted by Justice Jagan says alleged bites. So even that has not been established. In some cases, he's referring to a fox. In some places, he's referring to a dog. So even this has not been clearly established, nor have any statistics been corroborated. According to the government of India, and this is a reply tabled in Parliament just last month. Dog bites have reduced by 1/4 all over India. So why would Kerala be any different unless they treat their dogs differently? If you attack dogs constantly, if you throw stones, chase them with sticks, burn them, beat them, uh, do all sorts of bury them alive, attack them with acid, at some point there will be maybe a little bit of a reaction, and then you blame the dog. Also, even look at the statistics, even if we accept their statistics, 20 out of a population of what? Out of a population of what, 10 million or whatever? That's less than the number of people that die of a common cold. So this is not a matter for hysteria. This is not a matter for killing an entire population. I would say it's overreaction. I would say it's swatting a fly with a hammer. This is not a nuisance at all. Treat your dogs kindly. Use the ABC. In Kerala, they have never implemented the ABC program. In 2015, the High Court of Kerala directed Kerala government to start the ABC program. Till then, they had not, in spite of every other municipality doing it. In 2015, who did they entrust the program to? To some Mahila Kudukam, whose primary duty is women's empowerment and poverty alleviation. Why would a Mahila Kudukam organization handle the ABC program? In 2021, that is exactly what the Kerala High Court intervened and said, this is a rubbish organization and this is a rubbish program you're running, and please take it away from this program. So if you've never implemented the solution, how can you blame the dogs? And why would you take it out on them?
Okay, and I'm going to play a couple of the videos that are going to go up before Supreme Court judges as well. But Mr. Billimoria, you wanted to interject, and then to Mr. Unny. Go ahead, Percival. Yeah.
I just wanted to say that the ABC program has worked in some other states, and I think Ambika is the right person to describe that. But as far as Kerala is concerned, I want to ask Mr. Unny, what is your vaccination program? Do you know that the same report that the lawyers on your side asked the court to produce clearly states that the vaccinations available in Kerala are not adequate? There are two kinds of vaccines. One is a human serum vaccine, which is more efficacious, and then there is a horse serum vaccine. The human serum vaccine is not available. The most efficient vaccine, which is ARV, the anti-rabies vaccine, is not available. This is a fact-finding committee that was appointed by the Supreme Court, which has this finding. So how can you blame the dogs for it? It is your administration which has failed.
Let me take this to Mukund Unny. Mukund Unny, do respond to this, right? The point is that there are alternate methods. There are alternate methods like vaccines that Mr. Billimoria is quoting. Ambika Shukla is talking about how the animal birth control guidelines have worked in other states. They're humane. The videos, and I'm going to play out one just after I finish speaking to you, of how some municipalities are in fact handling this are really horrifying. There's even a video we have. Can we play that one of a man carrying actually an air gun? And you see him walking in Kerala. He's got an air gun in his hand. He's escorting children. So from a very early age, he's actually molding children to believe that dogs are the enemy, that dogs are dangerous. And look at that. He's carrying an air gun to shoot at dogs while he's escorting children. You must have seen this video as well. If you come at a dog with an air gun in your hand, is the dog not going to protect itself? Mr. Unny, please do go ahead.
Thank you, Barkha, for having me. Before I start, I would like to clarify that I am not appearing for the government of Kerala, nor am I appearing for any organization that's supporting the state government stand. I'm here to give an independent legal input on what is going on in this particular case. So therefore, I'm not in a position to answer Mr. Billimoria's question.
Well, we have Dr. Sivadasan, who's officially a member of the left government. Please go ahead with your legal perspective. Yes.
Absolutely. The only point that I would like to highlight here is that what we all seek to achieve is a harmonious coexistence between human and animal population. What has happened here is that there is in fact a conflict of two different laws that have come in place. We'll have to first see what is the origin of this dispute that is right now going on in Supreme Court. this is an appeal which has come from the High Court of Bombay, where a challenge was mounted against the ABC rule of 2001. So the challenge was essentially saying that Mumbai Municipal Corporation Act, which is already in place, provides powers to the municipal corporations and other local bodies to in fact take a decision and essentially kill those dogs that are violent in nature. There is already a statutory provision in that law, and that was in conflict with the newly formed animal birth control rules that was under the government of India. So there is a conflict of rules here, and there was a challenge that was mounted before the Bombay High Court. Bombay High Court said that in fact there is no such conflict between these two laws, and that the corporation is well within its powers under the Municipal Corporation Act, well within its powers to do what it pleases to ensure that there is no nuisance caused to the society. This is the judgment of the Bombay High Court. Subsequently, there was a challenge before the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court is, as of now, considering that dispute. And when that case is still ongoing, there are several instances from the state of Kerala that have now come to the Supreme Court saying that this stray dog issue is to be considered dehors the rules that are now in place, that is ABC Rules 2001, and that under the rules, there is no power to the state government or the local bodies to cull or to kill the dogs. There is no power.
Can I simplify it? Basically, Kerala's municipal authorities want the right to once again be able to euthanize those dogs that it thinks is dangerous. Rights activists, lawyers like Mr. Billimoria are saying that this is going to lead to an indiscriminate mass extermination of dogs. And we are already seeing this happen in instances. Now, I'm just going to hold you there. I personally found this video stomach churning. So this is a trigger warning. If you love dogs, the sight of what these dogs are going through, these are dogs being literally like sardines packed into the back of a van. They're yelping. Just watch what's happening in this video. It's really, really difficult to watch. These are dogs being taken for impounding, what's called impounding. They're municipal commissioners. We have one from Itanagar on record saying this is what the people want. And unless the people say otherwise, we are going to take them and we are going to impound them. In other words, we're going to put them in the back of a truck and we're just going to kill them all. There's another video. I'm not going to play the sound on this. It's far too disturbing. Another trigger warning. These are dogs. We'll have that picture in a moment from now where you can actually see dogs tied up and muzzled. While we stack up that video, Mr. Billimoria, if you want to come in, Mukund explained that basically what's happening is some municipalities, including those in Kerala, want the municipality to be able to decide when a dog is dangerous, and if the dog is deemed dangerous, they want the right to kill it.
But that cannot be the case. So I agree with my friend on one issue, which is that there is really no need for conflict. It is not man versus animal here. We can all live in coexistence peacefully. But to do that, you have to follow the Animal Welfare Board rules. And as I said before, the rules have succeeded in reducing the dog population. The Bombay decision that he spoke about, let me tell you that between sometime in the early 1980s, the Bombay municipality is supposed to have culled close to 5 lakh dogs. Subsequently, the Bombay municipality itself conceded the point that culling is not the answer. They conceded the point. You cannot solve the problem with culling. The simplest solution is to reduce the population. Now, under the rules, who has the responsibility to do that? It is the governments, the local governments. Now, if they have failed in carrying out the duty, it is like saying that, okay, I was supposed to reduce polio. I failed to do so, so let us kill all the people who have polio. Animals are sentient beings. This is the whole
Yeah.
issue.
Yeah, I
By
think
law,
yeah. Sorry, animals are sentient beings is a really important part of this conversation. Animals feel pain, animals feel emotion. When those dogs are stacked up at the back of the van being taken to their mass death, they are feeling the same horror and the same fear that you and I would feel if we were at the back of that van. I want to play some more disturbing visuals. These are dogs that have been muzzled and tied up. They're extremely disturbing videos. Not all of these videos, I should clarify, are from Kerala. These videos are from all over the country. So we're not actually making only a case out of Kerala here, but Kerala is the state in the Supreme Court asking for the right to exterminate when needed. So we just want to make it clear that this is what will happen if this is actually allowed. Now, Dr. Sivadasan, if I can bring you in, why not vaccines? Why not birth control? Why do Kerala's municipalities want the right to kill dogs? Who decides whether a dog is dangerous or not? We've also seen people taking the law into their own hands, killing dogs, stringing them up actually for a whole village to see.
So their local self-governments are there. So what I am telling, the protection of the human being, that the law, the perform the interest of the local self-government and the implementation of the law, that is the correlated. So what I am telling here, this number of man-animal conflict, that is day by day, that is increasing. Everywhere we are seeing this thing. So protection of animals is also very important, but don't avoid. We should not avoid the interest of the common people. So here, what we are seeing everywhere in India, not only in Kerala, the dog bite cases is increasing. In Kashmir, recently we heard the number of cases, the huge increase is there in Kashmir.
But who are you blaming for this conflict? Because a lot of people would say that man or human beings, men and women, we are to blame. We are to blame for turning animals against us. You know, you're seeing some of these videos of people chasing them with sticks and stones.
So that is how can we justify this kind of cruelty to the animal? Justify that thing. But the problem is the protection of the human being is very important. That I am raising here. So local self-governments, self-bodies, they are requesting to the government to the protection for the protection of the government. So ABC centers, they are already the number of ABC centers was increased in Kerala. Then they are perfectly that ABC centers is running here. That I am thinking recently 3 or 4 ABC centers was inaugurated. Then also what I'm 2 points I'm adding here. One is these street dogs. Those are feeding these street dogs. They are these dogs are not attacking that persons, but those who are reaching there without food, or those who are not ready to feed the dogs, they are facing the attack from the dogs. That issue is there. So that is why I am telling.
But that also tells us something about dogs, doesn't it, Ambika? That tells you something, that if when they are being fed, they are not in fact dangerous. They are responding like human beings do to someone they consider friendly. Ambika, go ahead.
Yes, this is precisely why we've, over the last week, we've organized a program. It's called Be a Street Hut, where teams of feeders are spread across the city of Delhi and NCR areas, where we are showing dogs being held in our arms, getting vaccinated. Now, if a dog allows you to hold him in your arms and vaccinated, not only does that show the dog is completely gentle, he's completely friendly, and he never responds even to the prick of an injection. He allows you to hold him. What does that demonstrate? The dog is completely gentle. Treat him well, and you'll be treated well. Violence is not the answer. Why is Kerala so fond of killing? Why is Kerala so fond of cruelty? Why does it resort? The first instinct is to hit, hurt. Why? This is Gandhiji's country. This is the country of Buddha, Mahavir. This is not the country of violence, and this is not the country of cruelty. Do not react like that. Show a little bit of kindness. If you yourself admit that feeders are not bitten at all, why don't you take a couple of biscuits instead of a stick? Throw out a biscuit. Don't raise a stick. And the other thing was that we have never had a smaller, healthier, and more friendly street population than now because of the ABC program and because of the work of feeders. So adopt that method. In Kerala has never tried ABC. It has never implemented ABC properly. Why don't you implement the solution instead of looking for violent, cruel, and illegal answers?
Yeah, so let me actually bring in Mukund now, and then we have to start taking last comments. Mukund, you said that there's a conflict between two sets of laws, but in the end, this isn't a legal argument. This is quite simply the Supreme Court's going to have to decide: should municipalities have the right to determine when a dog is too dangerous to live? If I were to pare this down, that's what it comes down to. Municipalities want to say if a dog is deemed dangerous, we should have the right to kill it. If and that's there's something chilling about that, because the fact is that you cannot count on every municipal commissioner to care enough about the dog to actually ascertain this in some very empirical way, and therefore we could see the mass killing of dogs in the thousands, if not the millions.
That's right. That's right. Uh, to speak about the Kerala specific issue where the government has requested for killing of dogs, I'm not completely sure if such an affidavit has been made before the court. But in any case, it has been found that culling of dogs has not been effective anywhere else. The reason why the government has also, perhaps, I'm not sure, perhaps come up with this suggestion is because of the recommendations of Sirijagan committee, which has said that complying with ABC rules itself may not be completely necessary for curbing the instances of street dog bites. And such a report has already been placed before the Honorable Supreme Court. And in fact, he is requesting for more ways with which dog bite instances can be reduced. So you'll have to look at it from a very holistic perspective, like who are the authorities that will have the power to ensure that such dog bite instances are reduced, because we'll have to now also see whether the local self governments that actually has the power under the ABC rules are getting adequate funds to ensure that
Yeah.
the ABC committees are working properly. Are there sterilization centers
Yeah.
working properly? Are they being funded by the government? Are the vaccination being implemented effectively?
What
Is there?
what worries me, Mukund, yes, and those are all valid questions, is that if sweeping powers are given to local self-governments or commissioners to decide at their own level, you could actually see even boasting about killing. We saw this with a particular officer in Itanagar, and
Yes.
he had to later clarify that he wasn't talking about sort of shooting stray dogs, but in his initial clip seems to actually suggest that he would be very happy to do so if that was what the people asked him to do. So those are the kind of sort of danger spots, in giving this kind of power, right, uh, to a local level. And we had to have animal rights groups intervene before he actually had to take back his statement. Dr. Sivadasan, very quickly, what is the right that Kerala is seeking? And then I'll give Percival the last word. Uh, Dr. Sivadasan?
These dangerous dogs are making lot of issues in our state. So protection of the common people is very important. So the local self-government should take the necessary and appropriate steps for the protection of the human
So I
being.
think it's quite
So
clear that the local government is asking for the right to kill the dog when it finds it dangerous, right, Dr. Sivadasan? I
yeah,
think there's no
which
ambiguity then in what you're asking for.
here in this country, in this Gandhi's country, those who are standing against the nation, those who are making the threat against the nation, the government is taking the action against them. We are hearing a lot of experience are here. So those animals making the making or attacking the common people or unable
Yeah, basically you're saying if the
standing the
dog is
danger.
attacking the common people as per you, all right.
If the dogs are dangerous to the humanity
Got
or
it, got
human
it. So I no,
activities, then
I
the
only brought
common
that
people
up.
will
I
take.
only brought that up because Mukund said it's not clear what Kerala is asking for. I think it's quite clear from your answer that you're saying local governments should have the right, if they find the dog dangerous, to basically exterminate it. If we come out of these pictures now and give the last word to Mr. Billimoria, this is
Is
going to come before the Supreme Court. Yes, sir,
Barkhaji,
yes.
Barkhaji, 1 second here. I am reading here, dogs are threat against the nation. One word is here, that is not my word. So you please
Yes,
correct it.
yeah,
What
yeah,
I am telling,
I
if
don't,
any
yeah, I
person
don't,
is against the
yes,
nation, then
yes, yes. I think you were trying to say that there is more action against people who are deemed anti-national, so why can't we act against dangerous dogs? All right, Mr. Billimoria, last word to you.
Danger in what we just heard is very apparent. Were all the dogs that were tied up with wires and left abandoned or beaten to death, were they all dangerous? Who decides who is dangerous? Which dog is dangerous? This is the whole problem. And I must say that, I must point out, first of all, that look, as I said before, and I keep emphasizing this, the ABC rules are adequate and have proved to be a success in some other states where implementation has been done successfully. I want to ask this gentleman from the government, what is your cold chain for vaccinations? Please tell me, will you please file an affidavit in the Supreme Court declaring that this is my cold chain for preservation of vaccines? You do not have a proper cold chain system. So therefore, the vaccines are not even successful. This is the problem. I also want to say to my learned friend that, the Bombay High Court decision that was incidentally decided 2-1 against has been stayed by the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has also said that no High Court will now deal with the issue of the act or the rules, because when the Supreme Court is adverting on an issue, it has issued very clear directions. Despite that, the government is going to the Kerala High Court, misleading the Kerala High Court, not making the Kerala High Court aware of this, and obtaining orders which are pretentious. Why are they pretentious? Because in the garb of not killing dogs, but doing something to protect human beings, which is, nobody denies that. But the only question is the manner in which you do it. I just want to point out some of the administrative orders that they are seeking to be blessed by the Kerala High Court. One is catching of dogs to be done by volunteers. This is not done. The ABC rules include detailed guidelines to protect animals before they are caught. They must be caught there are certain techniques that are approved for catching. You cannot just pick up a volunteer and say, you please help in catching a dog. And who is going to monitor which dog is ferocious or not? And even if they are ferocious, they cannot be dealt with in this manner. That is the whole issue. The reward offered by the government in these administrative guidelines for catching dogs is higher than the penalty in the act for cruelty to animals. There is an incentive. You are giving the population an incentive, a cash incentive, to pick up dogs randomly. Is this acceptable? In any legitimate society, this is completely unacceptable.
I think these are really shocking points, and I have to say I didn't know these either. That there are actual rewards being offered to catch dogs, and those are higher than the very important point, that the penalty imposed for cruelty on animals. Also, that volunteers should be allowed to. 50
the penalty
rupees.
is 50 rupees set in 1960.
50 rupees. That's it. I think these are all things the Supreme Court will consider. We're glad to have been able to at least get the conversation going. For any animal lover, of course, nobody wants a human being, leave alone a child, to be endangered. But it goes back to the heart of the matter. Dr. Sivadasan, you yourself said that when the street dogs are fed, they never attack those who are feeding them, which goes to show, if you show these animals love, 99% of them, I know some would say 100, but I'm, without being an expert, I'd say 99% of them would not be dangerous. So I hope that an amicable solution without conflict can be found that even protects people, of course, but also the rights of creatures that are sentient, that feel pain, that feel love, but do not have our language to express themselves. We leave it there. Dr. Sivadasan, Mukund, Unny, Ambika, Shukla, Percival, Billimoria, thank you. And we'll follow this case closely in the Supreme Court, where it will come up early next week. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.